Hey, good morning. So I know not everybody knows my story, and with only 3 minutes, I may have to make this a several part video. So I'm going to give you a rundown of exactly what's going on. For those of you who don't know, my name is Heather, and I am a single mom of 3 juvenile children and 1 adult child. I have been a nurse for almost 20 years. And on December 29th, 2020, my world completely changed and went upside down. I typical female. I had a partial hysterectomy, so I suffered with issues with constipation and abdominal cramping, like everyone else, I'm sure. Uh, I worked for a doctor full time, so I just kind of pushed it off. Oh, I had hemorrhoids, or just typical problems for a female. I'm constipated, nothing new. I put it off for a little while, and finally one day I decided that I was going to contact a GI, which I did. And he felt it was probably hemorrhoids or something like that, but we went ahead and we did a colonoscopy. And on December 29th, 2020, my world turned upside down because instead of me talking about cancer to patients, I was being talked to about cancer. I was diagnosed with stage 1 at that point in time. On January 14th, I had a colon resection, at which point in time I was diagnosed stage 4 colorectal. They did a colon resection with liver ablations. I was in my lymph nodes. On February 9th of 2021, I started chemo, which was called FOFOX. It is a horrible chemo. The oxaliplatin is miserable. I did 12 rounds of FOFOX, and when I ended that FOFOX in July of last year, I decided it was time to fire my oncologist here, and I went on to Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge, I see a amazing physician, Dr. William Vornado. It is very important that you have trust in your care team, or otherwise your health is just going to deteriorate even more. Dr. Vornado made the decision to put me on a oral regimen of chemo called Xelada. I would take that twice a day for 2 weeks. Twice a day for 2 weeks, and then I would have a week break. I did a PET scan in October of last year to find out my cancer had yet metastasized again. This is part 1. We will go on to part 2. And here is part 2. So I began the Xelada, like I said, with Dr. Vornado, and in October of last year, I metastasized. I had a PET scan, at which point in time they found that I had 2 more masses in my pelvis. Within 10 days, those masses went from the sizes of navel oranges to footballs. I had surgery with Dr. Evan Smith, who is an amazing GYN oncologist at Women's Hospital in Baton Rouge. Unfortunately, at that time, the right tumor had wrapped itself around my spine. He was able to scrape it off. And after surgery, I was up and moving and had a few week break of chemo. Whenever I did restart chemo, I started a IV regimen with the oral. I was doing Avastin, and then I would take the Avastin. I would come home. I would take pills for 14 days, and then I would have a little break, a week break, and then I would start all over again. I did great. My first PET scan after that was in March, and it showed that everything was pretty much stable. We continued that regimen, and then in June of this year, I was having some back issues. I'm not a pain person. I can handle pain very well. Started having some back issues. Just thought it was moving around too much because we were doing a lot of stuff around the house or whatever. At that point in time, Dr. Vornado wanted to order a CT. I refused. I wanted to wait because I was about a week away from having a PET scan. I called the following day. They went ahead and scheduled the PET scan, results were not in my favor. Unfortunately, at this time, my cancer has spread to several spots on my spine. Also, my pelvic bone, back at my resection site, and my right lung. I did 5 rounds of radiation at Oncologics in Lafayette to try to help with some of the pain on my back. During this time, of which my grandson was ran over by a vehicle, and whenever I pulled him out, I fractured my L4, which is right where the tumor was. After the 5 rounds, I have now started a new chemo regimen. I am about to have my 2nd round as of tomorrow. It's harsh. It's not a very friendly chemo. I am supposed to lose my hair probably after the 2nd or 3rd round. Tomorrow I will start round 2. I do stay hooked up to this chemo for a total of 48 hours, and we're going to go on to part 3. And here we are, part 3. This should be the final part of my story for now. There will never be a final part of my story because I am going to continue to fight. So tomorrow I will go back to Baton Rouge for my 2nd round of this new chemo that they're doing. I attempted to try to do, there's some study of a chemo that had 100% cure rate for colorectal cancer patients out of Manhattan. Unfortunately, my tumor does not meet the molecular structure that is needed to be able to take that chemo. So I will continue this chemo. I am what you call incurable. I will be on chemo for the rest of my life or until my cancer spreads too far out. It is a very, it's difficult. It's a difficult situation for me and my children. Not just my children, but also my grandchild. So I'm going to ask that everybody, please, we need to raise awareness. Everybody needs to understand what's going on with their body. If something doesn't feel right or you're not sure about something, you need to go and see your physician. If for some reason you don't feel comfortable with the answer that you're getting, you need to see someone else. Do a 2nd opinion, do a 3rd opinion. Shit, if you need to, do a 4th and a 5th opinion. You know your body better than anybody else. Nobody else can tell you what's going on. If you feel something's wrong, then something is wrong. Figure it out, find it out. 42 years old, stage 4 is not something I ever thought I would be. Not being a nurse, I was a healthy eater. I was not in bad shape. I have no family history. So now I sit here and I struggle. I struggle financially. I struggle emotionally. I struggle mentally. I struggle physically. I do not want anybody else in the situation that I'm in. My goal of putting my story out there is that maybe I can save someone from being where I am. I don't want to lose my hair because I think that's going to be hard. But I'm not going to give up, and I'm going to fight. And I'm never going to stop until God says it's time for me to stop. I'm going to fight for my kids, and I'm going to fight for everybody out there that doesn't know what to do next. I will advocate for anybody and help anybody out. So this is the bad parts of my story. There are some good parts. The main thing is I want to save lives and I want to save people from being where I'm at. We're going to go into a part 4. Okay, so here's my part 4. I need everyone out there to please share my story. Share it with anyone and everyone. Because the main goal right now is to save lives. I need people to go out there, take all the tests that you need to take. You can't go by lab work. Everyone talks about, oh, well, my wellness once a year, my lab work looks great. Listen, guys, my lab work still to this day looks absolutely amazing. My cancer markers were never, they were elevated once, very small amount elevated. Even my liver functions were normal and I had cancer on my liver. Blood work's not necessarily the thing to go by. If you are 45, now you can have a screening colonoscopy. Your insurance will pay for it the same way it pays for a mammogram, the same way it pays for blood work. It is called a screening. If for some reason you don't want to go do the colonoscopy, they have other options out there. They have Cologuard. I mean, come on, guys. I'm sitting here. I hate to say it that way, but I'm sitting here slowly dying, because that's truly what's happening. And there's nothing that I can do about it. I can take the chemo to prolong my life so that way I can have more time with my kids. But I can't stop it. I can't do any more for me other than take chemo, be sick, try to have good days. But for you, I can push and say I need everyone out there to try to do better and know their body. Do not end up where I'm at. Do not put your kids through this or your family through this, because it's miserable. Come on, guys, we gotta advocate. We gotta do better. I know they lowered the rate to 45, but I think they should lower it to 40 even. People younger and younger are being diagnosed with this. No family history, no reason to have it. I need everyone out there to listen to my story, share this. Let's get the information out there. My part 5 will be videos of when I started chemo and some of the good things that happened in between, and just to give everybody an idea of what goes on. Come on, guys, let's raise awareness. I love you. And I rise up.